Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're an older gentleman looking to understand women on a deeper level and build the kind of presence that leaves a lasting emotional impression, this video was made for you. You see, age isn't a disadvantage when it comes to attraction, in fact. Many women are quietly drawn to older men, not because of money or status, but because of something much more powerful: emotional depth, self-possession, and the way you make them feel when they're around you. In today's video, we'll uncover 7 subtle but profound qualities that make a man unforgettable in the mind and heart of a woman. These are not loud, flashy traits, they are quiet strengths. The way you listen, the mystery you carry, the calm you offer in chaos. We're going to explore how emotional intelligence, strategic silence, and even something as simple as scent can become the tools of meaningful connection, especially for men who've lived enough life to know that words don't always speak the loudest. So whether you're newly single in a long-term relationship or simply curious about how to cultivate more emotional presence in your interactions, I invite you to stay with me until the very end. Each insight builds on the next, and by the time we're done, you'll understand why a man who truly gets it doesn't chase connection. He becomes it. Let's deep listening begin. Number 1. Deep listening, not just hearing but empathizing. Women often seek emotional connection through communication when they talk. It's not just about the words they say, but the emotions behind them. They don't simply want to be heard. They want to be understood. For a woman, the act of speaking is not just about expressing thoughts or seeking solutions. It's about creating a bond, about sharing feelings that may have been tucked away or difficult to express. A man who listens deeply and empathizes with what she says without jumping to conclusions or offering immediate advice can have a profound impact. It's the difference between hearing and understanding. When a woman speaks about her day, her frustrations, or her dreams, she's not always asking for a fix. She's asking for connection, for someone who can reflect her emotions back to her in a way that makes her feel seen. I understand why that made you feel that way. It can mean more than any solution could, because it shows that he's not just hearing her words, he's feeling them too. The truth is, most men tend to respond with logic. It's not that they don't care, but the natural inclination is often to solve the problem, to find a way to make things better. While logic has its place, a woman is more likely to feel emotionally fulfilled when she knows her partner can reflect her feelings and offer emotional validation. When he listens without judgment, without rushing in with solutions, he fulfills a deep emotional need that many women find lacking in their relationships. This type of listening isn't about fixing or explaining. It's about offering space for her emotions to be heard. A man who can engage with her on this level becomes unforgettable because he offers something rare: emotional safety. She feels comfortable opening up, knowing that she won't be judged, dismissed, or hurried along to a solution. Instead, her feelings are validated, her experience is honored. A woman doesn't forget the man who can make her feel understood without requiring her to explain every emotion. In painstaking detail, he creates an emotional sanctuary where her feelings are respected. It's in this space of deep listening, where no words are wasted and no judgments are made, that a woman feels truly seen and heard in a world where many men prioritize logic or are quick to offer solutions. A man who listens empathetically provides something invaluable: the rare ability to emotionally connect. When a woman feels emotionally safe with a man, it opens the door to deeper intimacy and connection. She no longer has to fight for understanding, he already provides it. And this, above all else, is what makes a man natural mystery unforgettable. Number 2. Natural mystery, keeping certain things undisclosed. There's an undeniable allure to the unknown, and for women, the man who holds a bit of mystery is the one who keeps their imagination spinning. Women often fall in love not just through the things they know, but through the things they can't quite figure out. A man who leaves certain aspects of himself undisclosed becomes a puzzle she wants to solve. It's not about playing games, it's about being just enough of an enigma to keep her intrigued. The brain treats mystery as an emotional puzzle. The less she knows about you, the more her mind will obsess over figuring you out. The curiosity she feels is driven by the desire to uncover your secrets. It's a natural response, like a detective chasing a lead they can't quite catch. And when she can't quite figure you out, she's drawn deeper into your world. The less predictable you are, the more space you occupy in her thoughts. When everything is laid bare and there are no surprises left to discover, predictability takes over, and predictability, it's boring. But when you keep a part of yourself concealed, not only does it stir her curiosity, but it creates a sense of excitement that's hard to ignore. She wonders about your past, your passions, what you're thinking when you're silent, or what you're doing when you're not around. These questions become the backdrop of her imagination. This type of mental and emotional game is addictive. Mystery triggers dopamine in the brain, the same chemical that fuels an obsession with a complex piece of art. Women experience this pull like a magnet. There's an intensity in the unknown, something that makes you unforgettable. Just like staring at a work of art, trying to understand its layers and meanings. A woman becomes captivated by the complexity of you. You're no longer just a man she sees in front of her. You're someone whose every word and action holds a deeper meaning she longs to uncover. It's not about hiding everything. It's about keeping some things to yourself enough to keep her mind engaged and her emotions invested. It's a fine line between being an open book and holding just enough back to make her eager for more. And when you know how to balance that, you become someone whose presence lingers in her mind long after you've left the room. The man who understands the power of mystery doesn't need to put on a facade or pretend to be someone he's not. He simply leaves space for her imagination to wander, allowing her to fill in the gaps. He doesn't hand over every detail of his life, but offers just enough to spark her curiosity. He doesn't play games to manipulate. He plays with the natural rhythm of human connection, where desire grows out of fascination. And that's what makes it so unforgettable when she's invested in unraveling the layers of who you are. She's not just seeing you on the surface, she's connecting with the deeper, more complex parts of you that aren't immediately obvious. It's this depth, this emotional puzzle that keeps her coming back for more, making you a man she can't easily forget. Right, Denim 3. Emotional composure during tension in a world that constantly feels out of control. Emotional stability becomes a rare and valuable trait. Women in particular are highly attuned to the emotional dynamics around them. They absorb the emotional energy of those they're close to, making them particularly sensitive to shifts in mood. When a man loses control in moments of tension, his anxiety becomes contagious. It creates an environment where she feels on edge, unsure, and unsafe. But when he remains calm, especially when she is stressed or upset, he becomes a source of emotional grounding, a pillar she can lean on. This emotional composure is not just about staying silent or avoiding conflict. It's about showing that no matter what external chaos exists, he can maintain his balance and calm. When a man doesn't let external events dictate his internal state, it's like watching a storm rage outside while knowing that you're safe inside. Storm may continue, but the foundation remains solid, unshaken. The power of calmness isn't immediately obvious, but it runs deep on a subconscious level. Women associate emotional stability with safety and protection. When a man stays composed during a time of tension, he subconsciously signals to her that he is someone who can handle the unpredictable. This is an attractive quality because it appeals to her need for security, both emotionally and physically. Consider the moments when she's had a rough day, dealing with stress from work, family, or life in general. She's not looking for someone to solve her problems or tell her what she should do. What she craves is someone who can be there, steady and unflappable, providing a sense of peace that allows her to breathe easier. When you remain calm in the face of her emotional turbulence, she feels something powerful, that peace and safety that only a grounded man can provide. This trait becomes especially attractive because Emotional composure in times of tension is so rare. Many people, including men, react to stress by becoming defensive, agitated, or anxious. It's much harder to maintain inner calm when the world feels like it's falling apart. But when you manage to stay centered, it sends a message to her that you can be trusted. Not just in calm moments, but when things get tough, you become her anchor, the person who holds steady no matter how stormy things get around you. This subtle yet profound ability to remain composed during tension doesn't require grand gestures or deep philosophical conversations. Sometimes it's as simple as maintaining eye contact while she vents, offering a reassuring smile, or just being present without adding to her anxiety. It's the knowledge that no matter how chaotic things may feel, she can turn to you and feel like everything will be okay. In fact, the peace she feels when you stay calm might just be the most powerful attraction you can offer. There's something deeply magnetic about a man who isn't thrown off balance by the world's turbulence. It makes her feel like she's finally found someone who can offer the stability she's been craving. This calmness provides her not just with reassurance, but with a safe space where she can let her guard down and just breathe. Ultimately, a man's ability to maintain emotional composure is one of the most attractive qualities he can possess. It's not about being perfect or always having the right words to say. It's about creating an environment where she feels at peace, where she knows that no matter what happens, she can rely on you to be her emotional anchor. It's this unshakable calmness in times of stress that makes her think, I feel peaceful when I'm near him. And that is powerful beyond speaking sparingly, but with depth. Measure 4, speaking sparingly, but with depth. Women are attuned to the nuances of language in ways that many men may not fully appreciate. They don't just hear words, they feel them, and in this emotional landscape, it's not always the volume or frequency of speech that leaves a lasting impact, but the depth and intention behind the words. A few carefully chosen words can have more meaning than an entire conversation for women. It's never about what is said, but how it makes them feel. And it's often the small, subtle remarks that leave the deepest imprint. When a man speaks sparingly but with depth, his words resonate long after they're spoken, unlike those who fill the air with endless chatter. Hoping to impress or fill space, a man who speaks with purpose catches her attention in ways that linger in her heart. It's not about grand declarations or rehearsed compliments, but about noticing the little things, the details that others overlook. A simple observation such as, I notice, even when you don't say anything, can have a profound effect on her, making her feel seen in a way few others do. This is where the beauty of emotional intelligence comes into play. Women are highly sensitive to emotionally charged language. They remember words that seem to have an almost personal connection, even if it's just a fleeting phrase. These words are never generic or interchangeable. They are unique to the woman they are spoken to, often addressing something that resonates with her on a deeper emotional level. This emotional resonance is what makes the words stick, what makes them stand out in the clutter of daily conversation. They are a reflection of her essence, something that speaks directly to her heart, without needing to be explained. This is the power of speaking sparingly, but with depth. It's a subtle yet powerful way to stand out from the crowd in a world where people and often say too much without saying anything meaningful. The man who chooses his words carefully and speaks with authenticity commands a rare kind of respect. He isn't trying to win her over with clever lines or surface-level compliments. Instead, he offers something far more valuable, a deep recognition of who she truly is beyond the surface. When you understand the weight of your words and the way they affect her, you begin to communicate on a level that goes beyond the superficial. Instead of making empty promises or offering general platitudes, you speak in a way that makes her feel heard and understood. When you acknowledge her without overwhelming her, it shows that you're attuned to her feelings. This type of communication fosters a deeper emotional connection, creating a bond that is built on understanding and respect. where it's important to note that this isn't about being silent or distant. It's about being mindful of the moments when words matter the most. The key is to avoid saying too much and instead focus on the moments that truly require expression. Women appreciate a man who can be present, who can listen intently and respond thoughtfully. The man who can articulate a single sentence that captures her essence will leave a far greater impression than the one who fills the conversation with empty words. When you learn to speak less but with more intention and depth, you start to communicate in a way that is both powerful and meaningful. You become a man who isn't just trying to fill the silence, but who chooses to use his words to create a lasting emotional impact in the end. It's not about how often you speak, but how your words make her feel. And when those words resonate with her on a personal level, they leave an echo that lasts far longer than any fleeting conversation could ever. Not always available. Creating strategic absence. Do 5. Not always available. Creating strategic absence. There's an unspoken truth when it comes to attraction. Too much of a good thing can lose its value. Women, like all humans, crave attention, yet there's a distinct difference between feeling valued and feeling overwhelmed. The key lies in presence, not constant presence, but in the selective moments you choose to be there. The absence of someone creates a space where their presence is deeply felt, and this absence makes them more desired. A woman is drawn to men who are not always available, men who are able to create a sense of mystery. By showing up selectively when you're constantly around, your emotional presence can begin to feel like a given. It becomes ordinary, something she takes for granted. But when you are strategic in your availability, every moment spent together becomes more valuable, emotionally intense and meaningful. Your time becomes an experience, not just a routine. The magic here doesn't lie in neglect or in playing games. It's not about being absent for the sake of being elusive or distant, but about showing that you are not dependent on attention to feel validated. You have your own life, your own goals, and your own world. This independence is what makes you emotionally intriguing to her. The fact that you have other priorities speaks to your strength, and it makes her appreciate you more. When you do make time for her, when you're not always accessible, you create a sense of exclusivity. You're like a rare limited edition item, something to be savored and valued. It's the same psychology behind the things we treasure the most. When something is easily obtained, it often loses its allure. But when it's rare, it becomes priceless. The same principle applies to human connection. The more emotionally available you are without always being physically present, the more she'll begin to value every moment with you. This doesn't mean playing hard to get in a childish or manipulative way. It's about having the wisdom to know that your time and energy are precious, and your attention is a gift, not something you hand out without thought. When you make her work for your presence in a way that feels natural and not forced, she'll come to understand that you are not like every other man who is always around to fulfill her need for attention. As much as women appreciate attention, they value the ability to miss someone just as much. The absence creates longing, and that longing creates space for desire. It's in the moments when you are not there that she will reflect on how much your presence truly matters. The balance between availability and absence is what keeps the emotional connection fresh, engaging, and deeply satisfying. So the next time you feel the temptation to always be there, pause and think about the impact of your presence or the lack of it. By stepping back, you allow her the chance to miss you and to recognize that what she shares with you is something rare, something she's willing to cherish, because it isn't always at her private passion that absorbs you. Fingertip 6. Having a private passion that absorbs you. Women are drawn to men who possess an inner vitality that can't be easily defined but is immediately felt. It's not about your job title or the balance in your bank account, but rather the quiet passion that lights up your eyes when you talk about something that truly matters to you. Whether it's a creative pursuit, a cause you care deeply about, or a skill you've honed over the years, the way you lose yourself in it shows her that you have a depth. She can't simply skim over when you're absorbed in your own world. She notices it's not that you don't care for her or the relationship you share, but rather that you don't need her to feel complete. You have your own passions, your own dreams, and your own path. Ironically, this is what makes her crave your attention more. The fact that you don't live for her, that you're not constantly seeking validation or approval, creates an alluring mystery. It draws her in, making her want to be part of your world even if only for a moment. A man who has his own goals and purpose is impossible to fully possess. And this is precisely what keeps her interested. She finds herself wondering what it would take to earn a place in your life, if only for a brief moment. There's a quiet power in being a man who doesn't bend to the whims of others, a man who is firmly grounded in his own beliefs and pursuits. That energy, that sense of self-possession becomes magnetic to her. She silently respects it, even if she doesn't fully understand it. You don't need her to feel fulfilled. You don't depend on her to fill any gaps in your life. And that speaks volumes to her. A man who has his own gravity doesn't need anyone else to orbit around him. Yet people are naturally drawn to him. It's not arrogance but an innate confidence in who he is and what he stands for. The more absorbed you are in your own passions, the more she finds herself intrigued by you. She wants to know more about the man who isn't swayed by the fleeting distractions that often pull others in your independent drive. Is like a quiet invitation, a challenge that doesn't demand but instead inspires her to become more. She may not admit it right away, but she'll want to know what fuels you, what drives your ambition, and what makes you light up in the way only true passion can. It's the kind of attention she doesn't want to earn through force or manipulation, but through understanding that you are ambitions leaves a lasting impression because he isn't swayed by the superficial rhythms of daily life. His ability to focus, to be absorbed in his own world, makes him infinitely more interesting. And that ultimately is the kind of man who captivates not just a woman's attention but her respect and desire. As well, she may not fully understand why, but she can't deny the pull of a man who's truly at home in his own signature scent. Life's 7 signature scent, she remembers you even when you're gone. There's something about scent that no other sense can quite replicate. It has a powerful ability to etch itself into memory, attaching itself to emotions, feelings, and moments. For many women, the smell of a man can become more significant than the sound of his voice or even the sight of his face. It's as though your scent lingers in the air, leaving an invisible imprint that lasts long after you've gone. A unique masculine scent doesn't just represent your presence, it creates an emotional connection. It's an invisible thread that ties her to you in a way that's almost impossible to replicate long after you've left. She might not immediately miss your face, your words, or even the moments you shared, but she'll certainly miss the way you smelled, the particular cologne, or the natural scent of your skin can evoke feelings of comfort, safety, and intimacy that she can't shake off. Why is scent so deeply connected to memory? Because it's the one sense that bypasses logic and directly connects with the emotional centers of the brain. When you walk into a room, your scent is often the first thing she notices. Subtle, perhaps unnoticed by others, but unmistakable to her. It's like a signature, uniquely yours, one she can't forget. No matter how much time passes, it's the kind of thing that doesn't need to be vocalized. It speaks directly to her body and emotions. What makes it even more fascinating is that scent isn't just a fleeting impression. It's a memory that can be relived simply by smelling a familiar fragrance in the air, even when you're not around. She might catch a whiff of something that reminds her of you. Maybe it's a passing breeze or the scent of freshly cut grass. Instantly, she's transported back to those moments, with you feeling as though you're there with her again, even if you're miles away. This invisible emotional imprint becomes part of the way she experiences you. It doesn't matter if you're together or apart. Every time she smells that signature scent, it's as though you've never really left. Your scent becomes a full-body experience, one that she can't copy or replace. It's more than just a fragrance. It's a deep connection that wraps around her, pulling her closer, even when you're far away for women. Scent represents something more than just attraction. It's a way of keeping a piece of you with them. Your scent becomes intertwined with the intimacy you shared, with the quiet moments, the laughter and the closeness. It's a sensory reminder of the person you were to her, one that stays locked in her mind every time she catches that familiar fragrance. It's the emotional imprint that stays long after your presence fades. And it's why no matter how many people she encounters or how much time passes, there's something about you, something in that scent that she will never forget. Because it's not just your cologne or the way you smell. It's you wrapped in a fragrance that is uniquely yours, that becomes part of her story as we grow older. Wisdom isn't just conclusion about what we know. It's about how we show up emotionally, how we carry ourselves, and how we connect with others on a deeper level. What truly captivates a woman isn't loud charm or youthful energy. It's the quiet strength of a man who listens with empathy, who doesn't rush to fix but takes the time to understand. It's the man who holds a sense of mystery, who speaks with purpose, and who knows the value of emotional composure, even during tense moments. A man who isn't constantly available, who has passions of his own, and who moves through life with calm confidence, becomes unforgettable. Not because he tries to impress, but because he knows who he is. His presence isn't overwhelming, but it lingers in his words, in the peace he brings, and even in the subtle scent that stays long after he's left. These qualities aren't about playing games. They're about becoming grounded, intentional, and quietly powerful. The kind of man who doesn't need to chase attention, because his energy draws it naturally. The kind of man whose presence becomes a memory that's hard to replace. If anything in this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you experienced the impact of these traits in your own life? Share your experiences in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more insights on emotional connection, personal growth, and timeless attraction. See you in the next one.